I started the church, there were not a lot of people that were in the church, right? I was part of like the pioneers because when I made the decision to leave the church, he actually took me that was my first time at Kempinski. He took me there to explain to me why I shouldn't leave and that he's a sinner and he has fallen short of the glory of God.
So we woke up this morning, Amabella is trending, Pastor Erock of CEYC, which is Christ Embassy Youth Church, he's trending. Just said a space was held on Twitter and a lot of people shared their experience on why they left CEYC, why they don't go to those churches again. And also AVMB started trending because of he too, some yawa that happened some years ago. And I'm sure this morning, Pastor Erock will wake up, see that he's trending, listen to all the things that's going on, and all he will say is,
they are joking.
A lot was said. I'll break it down and give you the summarized version, but still you will get all the details of whatever was said and everything that's going on, the whole conversation. But before then, Lemfi is having a promotion, and this one, from now till the end of the year, any amount you stand a chance of getting a refund. That means if from now till the end of the month you send, the end of the year, you send, let's say, €1,000, £1,000, $1,000, whatever it is, you stand a chance of getting 100% refund in the weekly draw that's coming to happen. So yes, go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store, download the Lemfi app and use it to send the money. Remember to use my promo code Headless. Now let's get into the gist.
I'm the Headless YouTuber, there's Headless Reactions. Alatiare, Yonko!
Today is 6th November. 2 days ago, on 4th November, someone tweeted something. This man, Mr. Michael Taiwo, he tweeted that if you could go back 10 years and change one decision, knowing it would completely alter your life today, would you take that risk or leave things exactly as they are now? This is the question he asked on the 4th of September 2025 at 11:43 a.m. And a lady called Wendy, she came to reply that I wouldn't have joined CEYC. She wouldn't have joined Christ Embassy Youth Church. And someone came to ask that you need to tell us why. And she said, story for another day, LOL. Now, this one that Wendy came to write, now Amabella came to quote it and said, oh my God, me too, me too. Amabella said, me too. I wouldn't have joined CEYC. And this one too, someone said, hey, you went there. Amabella said, I was one of the first members of Christ Embassy Youth Church. So this thing has been brewing for some time now. And people started saying, oh, we want to, it's like, I want to share my side of the story and things. So there's this space called Accra and Packaging. Shout out to Lester for that particular space. They held a space while I was asleep. Nobody called me. You're not brotherly crowd. Huh? Nobody called me. But this morning, we've gotten the full gist of what happened on the space. I mean, on the space, everybody was sharing their side of the story. But Amabella's side of the story, because she said she's one of the founding people, the first few people to join the church, They said, Amabella, come and share your story. And according to her, the reason why she left the church, she will blame it on Pastor Enoch, a.k.a. Pastor Erock. She will blame it on him because she saw something. And the thing that she saw that, no, I can't be in this church. To the point where the pastor had to take her to Kempinski. That time she has never been to Kempinski before. That's her first time. Pastor took her to Kempinski to go and beg her that, you know what, I know that you saw something, but you see, blame me, the human being. I'm just a human being. Listen to the message. Don't blame the messenger.
When I started the church, there were not a lot of people that were in the church, right? I was part of the pioneers when he started that church because a friend of mine introduced me to him because he had just moved from being a singer to this, and he agrees yes, he agrees that he's part of it because when I made the decision to leave the church, he actually took me that was my first time at Kempinski. He took me there to explain to me why I shouldn't leave and that he's a sinner and he has fallen short of the glory of God. So me and him, we understand that he's the reason why I left the church.
Then Amabella took us to her history, her background. She's a Muslim. Amabella is a Muslim. And so this is her first introduction to Christianity. And according to her, when she entered the place, hey, some money competition that has been going on. Hey, these people they've raised 10,000 cedis. Who will beat them? Then this one say, oh, we've raised 25,000, 30,000. They were happy that they are beating the other people, and all the preaching was somehow about money, 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 money.
Now, I want to talk about my background and why he is the reason why, because I am from a Muslim home, right? So that was my proper introduction to going to church. So every understanding of church I would have, or understanding of the Bible, was straight from him. But there's some things were weird to me, which is why I left. Now, first, when I started the church, 1 month in, we were doing competition. Like, oh, let's say Kotoka branch raised 20 million. So maybe Agbogolosi branch raised 30 million. So we have to pass them. Hey, why do we have to pass them? For what? Like, I don't even understand. We were like, that was like, I wasn't understanding why we have to pass another church. Like, we actually went for this type of, I don't know what it is, where other branches will come and say, okay, we raised this, we raised that, we raised this. Me, I don't know where the money was going to, but people in the church found delight in passing other branches. So that was my first red flag. And then the preaching constantly became money, 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 right? And I was the social media handler at a point, the Instagram social media handler at a point. So the money issue was one.
Another red flag, according to Amabella, is that they went to do some miracle service B. And there was this guy that she knows personally. The guy was, he had an accident or something like that, and he was in crutches. That day he was healed, but the next day she saw the guy in University of Ghana campus still back to factory settings.
The second thing was when I left the church because I saw something that was very, very horrible, and which is why he took me to the church. But then he came to tell me that, oh, he's a sinner. I should listen to the preaching and not the individual, and that's understandable. He's a human being and he makes mistakes. When I went to the church that day, there was this. They do this thing where they do a night of miracles or something. There was this guy from UPSA that, like, I know him, but I've forgotten his name. He had an accident, so he had crutches, and they prayed for him, and he put the crutches down. The next day, I saw him in Legon, and he was using the crutches again.
Another red flag from Amabella. By false testimonies, it's like people are forced to give testimony, like, hey, you not come and give testimony, that kind of vibe, no? And when they go to give their testimony, it's like they are thanking the pastor before even thanking God. So all these things are like red flag, like they are giving reverence to the pastors more than to God.
And then the third thing was that I feel like people were, because of the preaching that was going on, people were coerced to give testament or say testimonies. I don't even know how that thing is called, but like coming to thank God for whatever it is. But before they come and thank God, they say, thank you, Pastor Sam, for the opportunity. What opportunity? You are thanking God. Why are you thanking the pastor for the opportunity to give a testament to God to win souls to Christ? I don't know. It is just too much for me. It felt like the
Trouble. Like, small. You
sorry.
hit.
It felt like the reverence was more to the leaders than the than God himself.
Number 5, she was made a cell leader. Somebody who is a Muslim made a cell leader. How is she going to preach? How is she going to teach people? How is she going to do all these things? But no, she was made a cell leader, and they were made to come and pledge some amount of money and raising funds. Every cell leader was responsible for raising some amount of money, a whole lot.
And also, I was made a cell leader. Mind you, I'm from a Muslim home. So if you make me a cell leader and put me in charge of a group of people, honestly, how am I going to preach? So which spirit of God told you that this, even if, let's say, in the future, I'll be a cell leader and graduate to a pastor and whatever, in that moment, is it really God that told you
Amen.
that I
How
was
Ama,
right?
what do you mean by you are made a cell leader? Like,
Yeah, like, so
how,
they are cell leaders, so they'll put you in charge of like a group of people where,
right,
like,
right. And what were you
yeah.
supposed to do? Like, what were you supposed to do as a cell
Or
leader?
sometimes you talk to them about God, you talk to them about
Okay,
the funds that they are supposed to raise. And I
okay.
actually never did that because I didn't even know where to start from. They made me a cell leader too, and then it was very like confusing to me, right? And then later people started selling their things, because if you give a seed, if you give your last seed to God, God will multiply it to you. That was the perception there. So people started selling their last things and everything. But fortunately, I didn't even have to even sell. So that's what helped me. Maybe if I had, I would have also sold something.
According to Amabella, there was also a perception of giving your last seed to God. Like, oh, the only money in your account is 200 Ghana cedis. Give all the 200 Ghana cedis to God and God will give you some miracle money. Like, trust in God. You have that faith in God. So give him all the money. In fact, you have a laptop. Go and sell your laptop. You have a phone. Go and sell your phone and come and give offering. God will do it for you. You have earpiece, headphone. Go and sell it. God will do it for you. You have microphone. Go and sell it. God will do it. If you don't have anything, your lip balm. Go and sell it.
It's the delusion thing is very crazy. That I know Adose had a friend that died in a motorbike, but Adose never let go of his motorbike, but he let go of his motorbike when he entered that church. That is how crazy it is. Like, I don't know how it works, but that is how it is. Like, it is like if you give to, like, I don't know what it is, but the preaching is always about giving money, giving money, giving. I don't really remember any.
So you say the church them they beg like beggy.
I don't know what it's called, but it's basically like you have to sow seed. So, like, you can even give, if you give your last to church, you don't know, God will give you miracle money. But why should I give my last to the church before God will give me the miracle money?
And then to the final part of Amabella's submission, she said that she saw something like some kind of grooming. Like, a lot of people, the girls in the church, they were taken from SHS. And it's like they are growing in the church. It's like they are grooming the girls some way. But the actual thing she saw, she said it's not her story to tell, so she can't share it. So unless those girls shared, but that's what she saw that led to the Kempinski going and the begging.
Like it doesn't like make sense. It's just a lot of things. And when it came to the girls, I felt like there was a bit of grooming on that side, because there were some people he met from high school and he like they grew up in the church. But that is not my story to tell. But what I saw, I had to leave because I felt
What did
like
you see?
that is their
Sorry though.
story. So I can't come and maybe they are not ready
Thank you, Amma.
to
Thank you,
talk
Amma.
about it. So once they are ready to speak about it, fine.
Now, after this, another lady came to share her side of the story. According to her, she cried that she's not in Ghana, but she has a reservation for these kind of churches that, these one-man churches and things, all these churches. So she has a reservation. But then she traveled out of the country, and because she wanted, to be in a community, they invited her to come to CEYC, and she went. And when she got there, she realized that throughout the preaching and the things that they were doing, they mentioned their pastor's name like 32 times. And they mentioned God's name like 5 times.
One of the people that I worked with was a devout CYC member. And one thing about me, I'm very open-minded. Like, I would experience it and like just to see what's happening. Like, I have my own opinions, but then I'm not set in my ways. I'm open to seeing what's out there. So when I relocated, she was like, oh, she has a friend in my city who goes to CYC, their branch here, and I should go. And I had no church at the time, and I was open to the idea, so I did go. They came to pick me up from my campus residence. They took me. I get there, and like during the preaching, I hear them reference their pastor, their head pastor, because I was deliberately counting a total of 32 times, and God was mentioned about 5 times. And like I made a joke about it to my parents when I called that weekend, because it was so absurd to me, because that was in line with what I already had, like the reservations I had about the church and the fact that they idolized their pastor. And that just reinforced the sentiments I already had. Because what do you mean you're preaching the word of God, you're reading from the Holy Bible, but then all your references are according to our father, according to our papa? Like, it was not making sense to me. It wasn't registering in my brain. And it was genuinely very upsetting, but I also found it very comical. I noticed there was a hierarchy. So the person who was preaching was constantly referencing their pastor, I Erock, I believe, and then the people who would sing and then maybe give a testimony or whatever would reference their in-house pastor. And I was like, there's no way. Because it was genuinely very absurd to me.
So according to her, the whole thing is looking like they are idolizing their pastor, and they have like sections, and everybody is idolizing the one above them and stuff like that. Also, after the preaching, after they finished the service and they were going home, in another man's land where they don't play with their working time and their working hours, so the pastor told one girl that, follow me, let's go to the next place I'm going to preach. And the girl said, oh, I have work to do. And the pastor said,
Hey, are you choosing your work over God? The person who gave you breath, the person who gave you strength, you are choosing your work over God. Hey.
And at the end of the service, I was set to go home. So yeah, the in-house pastor said to one of the ladies that, oh, she needs to follow him to his next meeting or his next preaching. And she was like, oh, I have a work shift. Then he says, are you picking work over God? And immediately I was like, there's no way you are saying this, because the country you are in, you have to survive. You have to find ways of supporting yourself. What do you mean by like, are you picking work over God? How your sustenance, what is going to feed you, what is going to care for you? Because I understand making sacrifices for the house of God and everything, but not to the point where you are neglecting a commitment you made to your workplace. Like, that does not make sense to me.
now the testimonies, there are plenty. Some people also came to tell their testimony of how the cell leaders were raising funds and sometimes by force pledging. If you don't have money, cry, you pledge. Some lady B said she pledged $100 that she and her mom double together, they pledged $100. She managed to pay the $100 for she and her mom. Later, cell leader came to tell them that heaven, nipa bako is not double. You can't pay and sit on somebody's lap to go to heaven. It's one. So you've paid your $100. Let your mother also come and pay $100.
They are awarding people based on how much they give. Like, let's say your target is $1 million. Okay, cool. But you're awarding and your starting range is $1,000. Somebody probably gave like $50 and that's all they had. But you're telling the person that, oh, because they gave $1,000, they didn't give $1,000, or maybe that year it's $2,000, that was like the least. So their $50 is like nothing. Meanwhile, the person feels like, hey, I gave my all, I did everything. But you, these same people, are also selling them this thing where if you give, you are going to become rich, you are going to have it multiplied in double folds. And the funny thing was, it was on uni people. Like me, that I'm in uni, how much do I even get? Like, you've given me a
So the
target
youth
of
will
like
raise $1 million.
$1,000. If they give the targets like a $1 million target for the year, he then breaks it down into the various churches. So like from church 1 to church 12 or something, there are lots. Then before the churches now have meetings with their fellowship leaders, and then they say that, okay, I'm going to do this and that and that. Then your cell leader will now take her fees. She'll go and also go and pledge that, okay, I'll bring $10,000. She's pledging on behalf of the whole cell, knowing very well that probably she cannot do it on her own, but she's going to do it with the help of her cell members. Then now they start putting pressure on you, the cell member, to also give the amount. I remember at a point I pledged $100 with my mom, and I told the cell leader that, oh, it's a joint pledge, so I'm going to pay for both of us. So I did pay the $100, and then I told her, oh, she was happy, they congratulated me in the group and everything. Then she texts me and she says that, no, my mom has to also pay $100 because heaven is an individual thing and the blessings are going to be individual. I'm like, what?
Hey, then they pay $100 go heaven.
You get why?
Now, while all these things were going on, they started sharing a video I did, I think 2 or 3 years ago, about AVMB, Apostle Vinnie Max Bani, yes, of the Divinity Empire Campus Ministries, DICAM. He trended some time ago. A lot of his members left right now the church, and I don't know, ago, so then because of some things that were trending. One lady came to share her side of the story, and actually, I have a little history with this lady because when the thing was trending some time ago, she reached out to me anonymously and tried to share her side of the story. But recently, I've seen that she has been more vocal. Now she has been sharing her story on Snapchat and stuff. So maybe one day we'll have an extensive conversation so that she tells us what she experienced. But according to her, the way these people are, that's why when she was speaking on the space, she kept saying my pastor, because it's like She kept saying my pastor because some people, when you mention that this person did this to me, they think, oh, my pastor cannot do this to me. It's you, your pastor, that did it. But she wants people to know that some of these pastors, they are like narcissists and they can do crazy things. And I'm talking about crazy things. Living in the same house with girls. Sometimes the girls will be bathing them. They chop the girls anytime they want to chop the girls, and they'll make you, the day you will not chop, you cry, you the girl, and you feel like, what's wrong with me? Why doesn't pastor want to eat me today? Like, it's serious. And she shared her side of the story, telling how these people lure you into and make you feel so special that you become part of them, and now you don't want to leave their church.
It's more like a personal thing where I am sort of like being rebellious. I understand if you would not understand it, but for me, that works, right? It's more like a tease between me and him. You will not get it, right? But I just say my pastor just so that people know that this story I'm telling, he was in that capacity of my pastor. If I say
I
AVMB,
get where you're
or
coming
if
from.
I say the narcissist, if I say the psychopath, you are not really going to see it like what I want to
I get where you're
portray,
coming
you
from.
know. And I go to this church and then I'm like, okay, they do this, they give people the opportunity, they give people the privilege. And like people have said, right? Cell component leaders, cell leaders, tissue leaders, organ leaders, and it went on and on and on. You go there and immediately you are given a position. You are really appreciated. You see, there's a lot of appreciation when you go because they make you feel wanted. Imagine you are from a home that nobody tells you you are beautiful, nobody tells you you are talented, nobody tells you you are this and that. This is not even my story, right? But I'm just saying. And then you go to a church and they are like, oh my God, you're this, oh my. Immediately you feel like a part. Immediately you feel welcome. I mean, I went to that church and then they really saw that I was bright. So quickly I was emceeing programs, I was talking, I was doing this, I was doing that, and all of that also makes you comfortable before you realize you are being taught all these kind of things. And one of the fundamental messages of the church was that when the pastor tells you this is blue, right, even though you are seeing white, it is blue. That is one of the first things you'll be taught, like when you enter the church. So it makes you know that your pastor can never do wrong, right? And someone like me, I am very outspoken. I am very blunt. Like I say things as they are. You can imagine the kind of mental battles I had to face because this thing that you are saying, that's not what I'm seeing. What do you mean I cannot talk about it?
Now, this is just a tip of the iceberg because some of the things that she has shared on her Snapchat, crazy. In fact, this year when she was celebrating her anniversary for leaving the church and leaving the guy, the pastor AVMB, she said a lot of things. And some of them are unbelievable, but it really happened. So yeah, she came to share her side of the story, and that's why Amabella and CEYC, Christ Embassy Youth Church, is trending. I mean, there are some people still in the church. Everybody has the reason why they are there. Everybody has their experiences. Some of the experiences that you've experienced, maybe somebody hasn't experienced that, and so they'll defend their person. But this is why CEYC is trending. This is why Amabella is trending. This is why Pastor Erock is trending. Share your views in the comment section. If you have any experiences of this particular issue, let us know in the comment section because now it's like everybody is talking. Let's see how the things go.
I don't know. Watch other videos on this channel. Tell somebody about Headless. Yeah, heading. Yapon.